All right, folks, we should be winding up as a group and then coming back together as a class. You can go to your old seats, and you guys did very well self-regulating. Okay, let's get it back together. Mr. Scott, you all set here? Oh, it's okay. Just remember I have an evaluation to fill out on you. So you guys did well. Every group was new, with the exception Luke and Pete were an old team, so we'll bust them up next time. So what were some of the things that you guys came up with as groups? What did you feel about these questions, about this piece? I want to hear your thoughts. So who would like to start? Yes, Courtney.
Well, like, Rebecca and Cody and I kind of, like, at first we had different views, but then when we heard Cody's, we kind of, like, agreed with her about how, like, if you're older or, like, elderly and you're in a lactate and there's, like, nothing you can do, like, you know you're going to end up dying, then it should be okay. But if you're, like, younger and there's still a possibility that you could, like, become cured or whatever, then it should be okay. Or you shouldn't have that decision.
So, am I reading this right? Did you move from being entirely against the concept of euthanasia?
I thought that it should be okay because,
like,
some people, if you know that there's going to be no cure for you, like if you know that you're just going to be in pain for the rest of your life, then it should be okay.
So then how did Cody change, or?
Like, I didn't really think about the other side, like if
the side where you need to be careful about who's allowed to. All right, so you came in with a more liberal euthanasia idea, like it's okay, and Cody sort of put the brakes on that a little bit and said, there's some certain circumstances you probably shouldn't be allowed. Okay, good. You want to add to that? Or are you in a different group? Or are you part of this? That's fine, good.
I can't talk.
No, it's good. I'd like to hear from different groups.
So at first, Joe said something that stuck with me. He said that he was a Christian, he was pro-life, so he didn't agree with it. And that stung because I'm kind of like opposite of that, but then I was just thinking about it, and kind of what Courtney said, I don't feel if you're young and you're just like, end it now because you think you're going to die. If there's a possibility, even like a 1% possibility that you're going to come back, but I think it's okay when, say you're brain dead, like they've declared you brain dead, you're not coming back. If you signed up to be an organ donor, then you signed over the rights to your body for them to send it for you.
Right.
So I feel like that should be okay. Or if you're brain dead and if you're not an organ donor and you sign the paper or your family makes the decision, then we're going to have some sort of drug to like cause that to happen.
Right. Now the complexities, I just want to say, the complexities and the different degrees of what we're talking about it gets complicated. So just for quick clarification, euthanasia is a kind of general term that has to do with helping someone else to commit suicide. This specific term, I think that we're really looking at in almost all of these, is now considered assisted suicide, which is when doctors prescribe for a patient a poison that they can take to kill themselves. It's not pulling treatment, like sometimes a doctor will pull life-supporting technology because the person in advance has said, I don't want to be sustained by that. That's not considered euthanasia or assisted suicide. That's just considered withholding medical treatment under the patient's wishes. Assisted suicide and euthanasia are taking steps a little bit further and involving the medical profession in helping people to end their lives. And I think that's why it's such a moral hot issue, a morally hot issue, because it's involving doctors who swear a Hippocratic oath to first do no harm. So let's get four other voices in here in short order quickly, because we're out of time soon. So first, Taylor.
I was just going to say that in the first article, isn't he talking more about like cutting life support instead of euthanasia?
In his case, in Sidney Hook's case, I don't think so. He says he's in favor of euthanasia. He talks about his own condition.
He's talking about himself. He's talking about how he wanted them to pull life support, and then
he was not in the position to ask them to do that. Is that correct?
No. He said that he asked his doctor to pull life support or tell him how to do it, and
first paragraph.
Your
Right.
views and predicted that someday I would appreciate the unwisdom of mine.
Right, and he never changed. So you're right, it's a kind of a lighter form of euthanasia that he's talking about.
But can't you legally say that you don't want to be like resuscitated?
You can. I mean, again, I don't know the intricacies of the legal, but you can definitely have a request to not be kept on life support equipment. I would imagine that in this situation, he was of such healthy mind and body, he's having a conversation with his doctor, that the doctor was like, no, there's no way I'm just giving up on you when you're in this state of what the doctor perceived as health. So let me ask you, just as a follow-up, Taylor, would you be more comfortable with that?
Pulling life support as
Yes.
opposed to administering drugs?
Yes. What about prescribing drugs that you administer yourself?
No.
You don't want to see that line
No, I'm
crossed.
just okay with pulling life support. Like, because that's keeping someone alive when
Artificially.
they're dead.
Gotcha. So,
So go ahead and
Good.
pull life support, but don't kill them.
good.
That's what I meant.
All right, fair enough. We're going to continue this on Monday, and we'll get into those details. Hey guys, I have 3 minutes, and I kind of want to use them. So, I know 3 of you wanted to speak, and 1 hand is still up. So I'm going to go for the person who's persistently raising his hand. Go ahead.
I think the first time I heard about this was a couple of years ago, when it was one state, I don't know if it was like Iowa or Oklahoma, they were trying to pass a law that would say if you were diagnosed with 6 months or less to live, then you could use this as an option.
Yes. That is the law, I believe, in 2 states now in the United States. It's also the law in some countries in Europe. That is under Oregon and Washington State. Under very specific situations, and with 2 doctors signing off on it, a patient who has less than a certain amount, maybe 6 months to live, it can get a prescription for a painless poison that they can take at home. Some patients have said they like just having the option, they never use it, but they like having that option to check out, but it requires a doctor making a prescription. All right, we'll continue this. Before we go any further, some things to look at in the reading over the weekend. First off, we didn't get to all of the arguments in these 2 pieces, so I might refer back to them, so hold on to them. But in the new pieces, look for new and fresh arguments, both on the pro side and the con, because they are different. Notice that the con, or the pro-euthanasia article you're going to read, takes issue with the con euthanasia article you did read, and we'll talk about that. Also consider, is it effective when the personal voice gets in there? Did you find it effective? There's a personal voice in one of these articles, I think in the against euthanasia side though this time. I want to definitely talk about that on Monday as a group. And then finally, look for strong and weak points. Just things where you think the argument is being made well and where you think the argument is being made poorly. So work on your, I'll see you tomorrow. We'll work on our papers. And have a great day, guys. Nice job.
Yeah, that's what I had said when we were having our discussion.